Oh my God. Welcome to this amazing talk we are going to have with my wingman, Jim,
Yes,
the original J Lo.
that's right.
Yeah. And I want you to just take your time to just listen to what we are going to talk about. And that is, what about being alone, or like me, I'm single and Jim is alone for Christmas.
Hmm.
And we talk about a lot of things around being conditioned to believe that just being alone or being single is like a failure. But we are going to look about, is that actually a failure? So Jim,
Well,
uh,
first of all,
yeah.
I'm honored to be here.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. And boy, we're gonna have some fun. You being all the way over in flipping Norway, and
Yeah.
me here in the United States, and it feels like Norway and like 7 degrees. So we're gonna have some fun here.
Yeah, I sent over some snow for you so you can have a really good Christmas, because we
Yes,
are going to spend it together,
take
just
take
in the
take it back. Yeah,
opposite.
take
Yeah.
it back.
So I want to talk a little bit about you, Jim, first,
Sure.
because you are a guy in the United States, and you have been on this big journey. You was on Wall Street,
Mhm.
and you earned a shitload of money, and then you switch over to being a caregiver, and then you switch over to being an entrepreneur with several different stuff doing different stuff. So I want just to say, can you talk a little bit about how has your journey been from being this successful businessman in Wall Street and now going over to be a caregiver? And
Sure.
how is that like, going over there? And so yeah. And yeah,
Well,
can you
well,
talk
first
about
of all,
that?
I got to find our cultural differences, our language differences, just make the conversation even more entertaining, there,
Yeah.
guys. So again, but my journey has been, one that I wouldn't trade with anybody, because it brought me here in this moment here with you, the ability to make an impact in other people's lives. But for a number of years, I did. I spent it in corporate America. That was the corporate phase of my life. Investments was my world. But then I had an opportunity that was presented to me to take care of my elderly parents, and it changed me for forever. It kind of burned down the old me. I kind of realized my ladder was up against the wrong wall for many years.
Mm,
And I had to go through a rebirthing process. And that's going to be a key word, I think, as we go forward, a process to go
mm,
from where I was to where I am and where I'm going. And in that process of burning down, I realized that these pivots along the way were all necessary, but the big one for me was as I learned how to intentionally connect with other people, to get
mm,
the people that I wanted in my life, that I wanted to surround myself with. And that process of intentional connecting, there was real power in that kind of pivoting with purpose, okay, and creating that circle. But also in that process of losing myself and realizing, building new relationships, I didn't really love myself
mm.
as much as I needed to in order to have stronger relationships. And that's an ongoing process, one to this very day. I'm not ashamed to admit that, pivoting towards self-love is a major starting point to being in healthy relationships. So I'm kind of embracing this being alone for the holidays, but I'm not really going to be alone, because I'm going to be with you, which
Yeah.
is really
Yeah.
cool.
And we're going to invite you to spend the time with us.
That's
That's
right.
why we are here. And what the essence of that is, there are so many people that are starting to awaken to what they are doing in corporate, or whatever they are doing is not enough anymore. And they start this process on going on, oh, maybe I should start something for myself.
Hmm.
And in that process of doing that, so much happening, and we both have gone from corporate into the way into the entrepreneurial sphere.
Hmm.
And that we when we do this,
Hmm.
we are creating havoc for our persons around, our family, friends, people we were so close with. We
Yeah,
can't expect them to follow us on our path. So we need also to understand, being enlightened or awake as a person or going on this development journey, we can't expect other people to follow. So we need to also be mindful to let other people, even though they are critical towards us, we need to be loving towards them because they are on their journey.
that's right.
Yeah. So would you talk a little bit about how your friends,
Mhm.
family, relationship have changed from being on Wall Street to now being a caregiver and now an entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's fascinating because I think back, originally working, in New York City and being in that world. It's amazing what you'll attract when people think you are a certain persona.
Yeah.
But then when things start, again, as relating to how the world looks at another person going into a role of, say, caregiving and almost like disappearing, almost going in with like witness protection, how people will fall out of your life.
Yeah.
Many people will stay there if they choose a scarcity mindset, okay, or a mindset that is really maybe I am a nobody. But when we take a deeper look, and it starts with taking a deeper look within ourselves, and changing that mindset as I went into like in the entrepreneurial world and saying, okay, again, intentionally connecting. When you have this belief within, it started attracting certain other types of people, right? But as a more of a sorting personality like I am, I realized that not everyone is going to stay in my life for that journey. And it's really, who do I want around me? And ultimately bringing enough value to their life that they want me in their life as well. So this isn't about me. It is about creating a life that
Mm.
attracts the people. But it's,
Yeah.
again, process. And that process, I have found, has taken time. And certain people have fallen off. I kind of equate it to a rocket ship. I'm the rocket ship flying to my highest self. And there are booster rockets on, connected, that are designed. They're designed to fall off, right? Because if they stay, the rocket will explode if they stay attached. So those people have to fall out. And, sadly, I've had people fall out of my life, not always by desire, not always by desire,
Mm.
sometimes, but it was necessary for them to kind of fall off. And it's realizing that part, and sometimes that's when it gets difficult, and
Yeah.
sometimes having to be alone,
Mm.
and that's uncomfortable. I found it's uncomfortable to be alone,
Yeah.
but we're gonna realize, we're gonna share how, what, there's a lot of positives
Yeah.
that come with that.
Yeah. And one of those positives is exactly when you are alone, you have the time to think about yourself, and you are actually starting to get to know yourself. And that is when self-love comes together. And
And
that is when, yeah,
what better time?
yeah,
What better time, as we're, a lot of people are in this holidays where they're just mindlessly going through life. But imagine being able to intentionally start running towards the end of 2022 and get a running start into 2023. And that's what we're talking about, getting that
yes,
running start. And what better time to do
yeah,
self evaluation than at the end of the year and starting a new year?
yeah. And that is exactly what we want to be doing right now, because uh, right now is the 23rd of December. And that, for people that is more interesting in more uh, other type of science, that is the new moon. And for the
Ah, we're going into new moons. Okay.
yeah, we are going into new
This is new,
moon.
this is goddess territory. All right. Let's
Yeah, the
hold
goddess
on.
territory. So the one thing I want to ask you is, what is for you that is watching, I want also you to comment below, and what is the one theme or intention you have for next year, because today is the best day to set that new intention.
That's right.
Because yesterday or 2 days ago it was winter solace, and that is the turning of the sun, and that is also the first days, that is the perfect day to seed your seedlings for the next year.
Uh-huh.
So Jim, what have you as a theme for the next year?
Oh gosh, and for me, it's a culmination. It's kind of like I subscribe. I hear you loud and clear, and it makes sense to me. But
Yeah,
I kind of equate it to the reaping and sowing of a
yeah,
farmer.
yeah,
Okay, planting seeds like a farmer that
yes.
sprout. And I've been over the last this year working really hard on planting a lot of seeds. And
Mhm.
mine is the harvest is coming in 2023.
Yeah,
The harvest is coming. So it's really about reaping that harvest
yeah,
and continuing to work the land, work myself, right? It's not a time to get lazy and just
no,
expect the crops to come in. No, it's then having to sort through the crops and continuing, right? To grow, because remember, the journey never stops, right? The
mm,
journey doesn't stop, the growth journey, but it's
yeah,
about harvest for me next year, and the harvest is coming.
yeah. And that's it's a good way to talk about, because you are a chief elevation officer.
Yeah.
So would you, because this is so good just to put that together, would you tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit of what is that?
Well, if I had to sum it up, because we're limited time, so let me summarize it.
Yeah.
As the Chief Elevation Officer of Trinity Growth Solutions, my personal company, my ultimate vision is to elevate and empower individuals to live the life that they were created for. So really, it's helping others achieve that by realizing that they've got greatness inside of them. But
Mhm.
sometimes, guess what? They might just need to pivot. There are the micro pivots and the macro pivots of life, right? And
Mhm.
it's taking those pivots with purpose, realizing that in order to know, in order to have the life that you want to live, that you were created to live, you've got to be intentional. It's like
Mhm.
a ship on the ocean. If you give it no direction, if you don't give it a destination, likely you're going to end up on the rocks, and that's going to happen with our life too. So in that position, for me, I'm very selective about the types of folks I like to work with and ultimately team up with so that they can live the life that they were created for.
Yeah, I love that. And we have actually been on this journey for 2 years,
Yes, we
because
have. Has it
yeah,
been that long?
yeah, 2 years, Jim. We have talked to each other almost every week for two
Yeah.
years. So that is amazing compared to other people I have met on my journey, because we were both facilitators of global leaders, and
That's
we
right.
had each our group.
Yes.
And you was actually the one that reached out to me after me doing a live
So 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 I guess
the English and everything.
this power of intentional connecting actually started with us too. I
Yeah,
actually used my secret recipe of intentional connecting, and look at how I've benefited by bringing you into my life. This has been amazing. But
yeah,
you're right. The journey, becoming a 21st century leader in a wonderful program, and running our own mastermind groups.
yeah,
Ultimately, wasn't it about not only growing ourselves, but the impact we can make helping to grow other people? Because isn't that at the end of the day why we're here? It's not to hoard all this information that we went through and stuff. It's now about sharing the boons that we've learned
yeah,
with others to help them exponentially go out into the world and make an impact. I mean, I'm grateful every time for making that reach out to you.
yeah. Me too. And it's so interesting because everybody around me, like friends and family, oh, you have your weekly meeting with Jim, so I didn't call you at that exact time because everybody knows around
I'm
me.
honored. I'm honored.
You don't mess with my time with Jim. We have our 1 hour a week that we
That's right.
talk about everything.
Yes.
But mostly it is, like you said, is growing and nurturing leaders that create leaders. That is has been for, I think, since I was a teenager, and when I started to read about Maxwell and the
Mhm.
fifth level leadership and so on, I was so fascinated. But it was later when I discovered the unique blueprint we all are
Well,
born
let's be honest with the people here. I
yeah,
mean, I reached out to you.
yeah,
But remember, it's about bringing value to other people. And you turned around, and when you started talking about the blueprint, at first I was like, all right, lady, what are you talking about here? But fascinating work that you do with that blueprint. So I'm sure that
yeah,
people need to hear more about that, and
yeah.
what kind of impact that can make in their life. So what are you going to share to this the American crowd about that?
Yeah, I will share that you have, like every single one of us has a unique blueprint that we are born with, and this is the recipe for being the best of your own life, where you have your gifts, where you are, why are you here, that is your purpose in life. And when I talk to Jim, Jim is 1% of the population, so unique that, like, oh my god, do you believe, Jim, how unique and special you are?
Now
And
let's be honest. You start feeding that to my ego,
yeah,
and what do you think that's going to do? But I had to take a step back and say, okay, now explain yourself. And that was the
yeah,
part. It wasn't just that part. It was how you went into
yeah,
it a little bit more in depth. That didn't just, again. It felt good, but feelings can be deceptive.
yeah.
Okay. Right. So
So
anyway,
yeah,
my apologies. I told you I grew up in New York, so we have this annoying habit of jumping in on
yeah. That
conversations.
is a fucking excuse to be rude. So don't push my.
Well, you know me too well.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about the blueprint, but I really want to just say that it's up to everybody to just use whatever they have gotten, but we are changing in, like you said, the 21st century leadership. We are moving into a different area.
Yeah.
So if you do not know yourself and you do not know what your surrounding is, you will be left out in the cold when this shift is happening, and it is happening right now. And
Mm.
that is why we, Jim and I, want to take you into our Facebook group this holiday season. We start on
Now, Goddess, you have to understand something. For all of our Top Gun Maverick fans out there, let me be clear. I'm the wingman here. This is your show. I'm your guest, but I'm just your wingman.
yeah. And of course I want to share this with you, that I have shared this with Jim over 2 years now. And let's say you have learned a lot about yourself and have a tremendous growth curve, just by not necessarily understanding what I'm talking about. When you try it out, it amazed me how fast you actually get your results. So just being able to talk more to us, being able to step more into what you're supposed to be doing, and so on. So we want to invite you for the 5 step to release the old conditioning in your life, so you can start a new year fresh and with a new family or friends. And the new family is just exactly what Jim said. You talk with us, you talk with the other person in the group, and
Mhm.
maybe that is the soulmate for you, because we all have a lot of soulmates
Mhm.
based on the blueprint. And that is, we are I have gifts where Jim have weaknesses and Jim has gifts where I have weaknesses. And this is super important to understand because Jim and I are actually soulmates in a blueprint design. We are designed to collaborate. We are designed to do stuff together.
Mhm.
And this is sharing and caring for others. That's why we are doing this. It uh, and it's important to understand we are gifting you this right now.
And like anything else,
Yeah,
okay, I think before any person could step into learning how to help others, they've got to get right with themselves. I did. Look, full
yeah,
transparency here.
yeah,
I said it earlier. Okay, there was a severe sack of self-love.
yeah,
And it's people have heard, people in the growth circles probably heard it more than others. You got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first. And
yeah,
if and I realized that I was so lacking in self-love that I couldn't properly love others. And that's, listen, that's reared its ugly head in multiple ways in my life and hurt my relationships. Some of the most important relationships of mine have
yeah,
been forever damaged because I didn't have that self-love. So getting to that place of pivoting to self-love, that ultimately we can start off 2023 and making it the best year for all of us.
Oh, I love that. And with that said, you are so welcome to join us. We start on Monday, but you need to be a part of the group to access the rest of the series. So the 5 step is all about letting go of what you believe you should be. And it's a sort of a sorrow process because it's the 5 step of a sorrow process you need to go through, grieving process. So grieve yourself and pivot with love in 2023 with love.
I thought we were gonna make s'mores or something and have fun between Christmas and New Year's. I mean, we're
Oh,
not.
yeah, we are going to do that. And of course, I'm with my lack of vocabulary, I would say stuff like a typical Norwegian say it. And like, I try to talk about like the fur I'm sitting on. So I said to Jim before we went out, oh, Jim, it's so cold here. I'm so grateful to have a sheep in my ass.
Yeah, and I said I'm sitting on my cat.
Yeah. And you said, you're sitting
In
on
order to
your
stay
cat.
warm, it's 7 degrees here. I know. Yes. So, well, I mean, there'll be things that come out of your mouth that I'll just roll with it, and I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll have
Is
fun. But
direct translating from Norwegian to American, it fails a lot of the times. But if I didn't do it and if I didn't try, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be a leader for others.
that's right.
So yeah, so be able to be yourself. That is the authentic version we want to share
That's
with you.
exactly right. Let's be real, right? Because
Yeah,
you know what? You can't be. The word authentic, I think, is used maybe a bit much these days, but
yeah,
really just getting real with ourselves. Okay, get real with yourself,
yeah,
so that you can be the best version, your best version for other people. It's an amazing transformation. It feels amazing, and most of all, the impact that
yeah.
you'll have in other people's lives, and the difference that you'll be able to make when you get real. It's truly life changing. So looking forward to next week.
Yeah.
We're gonna be alone, but not alone. So it'll be
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, we will be together no matter what.
All right.
Okay, bye for now and see you